Senate and House representatives should be ashamed. It is shameful that today, in our history of the United States of America, that the people we have elected to office to serve as our representatives, members of the House and Senate, you individuals, have the audacity to think that it is okay for you to fail in your jobs, to continue to get a paycheck, and to expect no repercussions from the public. Each and every one of you, Democrat and Republican, has failed in your duties to serve this country, the people of the U.S., and the Constitution of the United States of America, and you should all be fired. The people of this great nation should take back control of our nation from the politicians such as yourselves and vote in people who actually believe in this country and in the principles it was founded on. And people who want to work to make this country great again in the eyes of the world and in the people of this nation. There should be a grassroots movement take place that proclaims that everyone in Washington, D.C., all of the House and the Senate representatives now serving in the Assembly be voted out of office at the next election and every election after that until there are no more incumbents serving, no more people who have and live by their own agendas and not those of the people. You want to cut the spending of this government? Stop putting pork belly spending in our bills to get them to pass. This is happening on both sides of the House and the Senate floors. Those placed in power positions taking care of themselves first and foremost so that they can retain that power they have claimed as their own due to their positions. The people of America have become allergic to big, fat, indigestible government and the bills they pass to the people who these bills forward and to the people who pass them on. The fat bills that keep filtering into and through the halls of Washington, D.C., bills like the $70 billion Sandy relief bill that had hidden pork in it, the millions and billions of dollars snuck into it to fix a leaky roof at the Smithsonian, for new cars for the FBI, and for highway repairs across the country, resulting in the Sandy package ultimately costing more than the annual Homeland Security budget. This is craziness and it has got to stop, and stop now. The people are fed up with it and are fed up with the craziness and how it has become in Washington, people in Washington who are perpetrating these horrendous crimes against the people of the U.S. and the taxpayers who have to pay for it. Not only your salaries, Mr. and Mrs. Senate and House Representative, but also those of your bloated staffs and lifestyles. If you want to cut spending, then seek to cut spending where it needs to be cut, from the budgets of Washington representatives and the bloated military we have today, filled with more general officers now than there has ever been in the history of the United States. Today, the Department of Defense, DoD, is an increasingly top-heavy force, while the enlisted ranks have been shrinking with even deeper and deeper cuts. The ranks of general and flag officers have been expanding. This trend is costly to taxpayers who have to foot the large bill for every new general or admiral or every new senior elected service SES member. The cost to taxpayers of uniformed military personnel increases markedly with the rank. 17 general and flag officers were scheduled to be eliminated in the May to September 2011 timeframe. But the Department of Defense did not reduce its top brass at all. Instead, 6 generals were added from May to September of 2011, increasing the number of general and flag officers from 964 to 970. In just basic compensation alone, these 6 generals will cost taxpayers more than $1.25 million per year, and over the next 10 years, they'll cost taxpayers more than $14 million. To achieve the budget savings that the government and the military says they need to find, to cut $250 billion from DoD's budget over the next 5 years, military leaders, and government representatives should look no further than in the mirror right in front of their faces and start making some of those hard decisions that John Q. Public is being asked, no, tasked, to make over and over every single day as they try to make a living, pay their taxes, and survive in this once great country as it slowly crumbles around them. You people in the power halls of Washington, D.C. need to start cutting at the fattest part. Start cutting from the top down instead of from the bottom up. Because when you get rid of all of the workers and the worker bees at the bottom, and you have no one left but those sitting at those seats at the heads of those tables, you will find that there are no more individuals beneath you who are both knowledgeable and qualified enough to perform the mission. After all, DoD is all about the mission of keeping America and Americans, all Americans, safe. To do that, our government and representatives in Washington and the military, the DoD, will need to make the decisions that are best for the country. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. And finally, whether you are citizens of America or citizens of the world, ask of us the same high standards of strength and sacrifice which we ask of you. This quote was made by John F. Kennedy in his inaugural address, January 20th of 1961, and is never more appropriate than now. Right now, we, the citizens of America, are asking you, no, we are telling you, those who profess themselves to be leaders and leadership of this country, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, and all members of the branches of the military, take notice because we are fed up with you. You need to follow those same high standards of strength and sacrifice, walk that same path of economic suffering, which has been forced upon us by the decisions you make and the laws you pass. Do what is being asked of us. Do your jobs. Do not pass laws that you yourselves do not have to abide by. That is elitist, and not what this country, and our founding fathers wanted when they sat down in 1787 to compose the framing of our government. The Constitution of the United States, one of the greatest concerns of our founding fathers at that time, what they feared the most and tried to prevent in this document they were putting together, is exactly what we are facing today. Among the chief points at issue at that time was how much power to allow the central government. Today, it can clearly be seen that our government has become far too powerful. That the citizens and what the citizens want and desire for our country, the United States of America, matter little to those in power who sit in their ivory towers in Washington, D.C. These men and women who do not understand the model of cooperation, statesmanship, and the art of compromise as that of our forefathers, and how they exemplified this in their writing of the United States Constitution. In thought, word, and deed, in the drafting and signing of the U.S. Constitution so many years ago.